Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, a little bit of laughter. Because as you know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our favorite divorce lawyers in the planet, Mara Bernstein. Mara, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hello, so great to be here. My name is Mara Bernstein. I'm a family and marital attorney with offices in South Florida and also in New York City, Long Island, and Westchester. I am a former litigator, and as of now, I do what I call private divorce for people who want to stay out of the court system.
So important to have that option. I love that. So that actually brings up my question today. We get a lot of people who come to Fresh Starts who are considering divorce and they just don't know what the options for divorce are. We hear all these terms, right? Litigation and mediation and collaborative divorce. And yet often we go in our heads to like a movie divorce, right? Where it's like two people in the courtroom yelling at each other, which you've told me many times does not even happen as nearly as much as we think it does. So what is it, Mara? What does it look like to kind of start this process and what are these options?
Right. So I just want to preface this all by saying that I'm not giving any legal advice. I'm really just talking about options. The bottom line is everyone's divorce is very, very different, and there's a process for everyone. And when I talk about process, I'm going to be talking about the continuum for the least complicated cases and the least contentious cases to the most. So sometimes people sit around a kitchen table, the least contentious and the least
Yep.
complicated, and they could work out a deal, and they could get the forms online. Many people do that. They go
Mhm.
pro se. That just means they're not represented by attorneys.
Okay.
That happens. Going down the line, there's something called mediation. And I happen to be a mediator. And a mediator is a neutral, impartial person who will sit with the parties and help them fashion an agreement. That
Okay.
person cannot give any legal advice. The person really just identifies the issues and acts as a facilitator. What people should know, though, is that if there is a contentious issue in the divorce, if you think that someone is hiding any assets, if one of the spouses is a bully, then mediation is probably not the right alternative
Mm,
for you because you're not represented by anyone. You don't have anyone advocating for you.
mm.
What you can do, though, with mediation is hire a consulting attorney. Go to mediation, have all the issues discussed, and then say, I'm not ready to make a decision yet. Go to a consulting attorney, and the attorney will consult with you and tell you what your rights and obligations are. Okay.
Hmm.
Following that, there's something called collaborative divorce. And collaborative divorce is an alternative dispute resolution process where each of the parties is represented by a collaboratively trained attorney. There's a neutral facilitator who helps move the process along, and very often a neutral accountant. So it's a very comprehensive process. The clients are each represented, but it's a non-adversarial process.
Mm.
Pro of it is it's private, you stay out of the court system, it's
Right.
confidential, and instead of going to litigation where you're fighting against each other, the lawyers act as problem solvers. By and
Hmm.
large, it's less expensive and it takes less time.
Interesting. So why would somebody not do collaborative divorce?
Um, because a lot of people don't know about it,
Yeah.
because it gets a bad rap from litigators.
Mm.
It takes away from the litigation business, because sometimes it's not appropriate. It's the kind of process where a judge is not involved. So if someone is not going to hand over their documents or be transparent,
Mm.
the attorneys in the process do not have the power to subpoena or get a court order. So it
Okay.
really is for people. They can be fighting, they could hate each other in the moment,
Right.
but I call it adult divorce for
Mm.
people who really want to stay out of the system and want to protect their kids and want to save their money, all
Interesting.
their hard earned
Interesting.
money. But it's really
Yeah.
not for everyone. It's for most people, though.
Yeah, it's a great option. I think you were the one that introduced me to that,
Yeah,
in our discussions over the past couple of years, and I think it is a really fantastic way, especially because if you have children with a person, you're going to have to keep co-parenting with them, right? So, it's kind of a beginning of that
yeah,
collaborative effort.
yeah.
So, if somebody's listening to this and they're starting on the journey of divorce, what would be a first step? Is it finding a lawyer that they feel comfortable with?
Yes. Finding a lawyer, getting some referrals, and maybe not just talking to one lawyer. It is such an intimate relationship. You're putting your life in the hands of someone in your kid's life.
Yeah,
So there are certain things that you have to have with the lawyer. You have to have trust. You have to have good communication. You have to have respect. The lawyer has to be available. You have to feel like that lawyer is advocating for you. So it's not just a one and done. I think it's really important to feel very, very comfortable with the person that you're hiring. And also that it shouldn't just be a lawyer who does insurance and real estate and a little bit of family law. It should be
right.
someone who only does family law because there are so many nuances involved in it.
Yeah, that's really, really good
Yeah.
advice. And calling around multiple places, right? Having conversations with multiple lawyers,
Yeah.
kind of running on vibes a little bit, right? So you feel
Exactly. Because you
comfortable.
don't get a second chance to make a first impression to do it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really
really good
important.
advice. If somebody's listening to this and they're going through a divorce, what would be some words of encouragement you could leave them with?
Divorce is really challenging and it's temporary and you're going to get through it. And if
Yeah,
you hire the right lawyer, that lawyer is gonna set you up for success in the future. There are always new chapters, you're gonna get through it.
I love that. I love that. And it really is true. Your lawyer becomes such an important person
Yes.
to you. And I will say, like, even I bounced around lawyers and finally settled on somebody that was a
Mhm.
woman that I felt heard me and understood me. And so, if anybody's listening to this and they're currently with a lawyer that they feel like they are not comfortable with, then, there's other options out there as well. So,
Absolutely, I agree.
yeah.
There's no shame in changing lawyers, people do it all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Well, thank you so much for the wise words and for being here.
You're welcome, my pleasure.